Hello, hello, everyone. Welcome to the Beachy Warmest Wishes card class. I hope everyone is enjoying their Saturday. I have been doing laundry and the vacuuming and all that good stuff because we got everything prepped yesterday. So if you didn't catch our homework or prep class, there is a video on that. And so if you're catching this at a later time, you can check that out and work along with it and pause and play and all that good stuff. And the same goes for today's class. It will stay here on our YouTube channel. So if you want to check it out at a later time or go back and look at this, that, and the other thing, it will just live here on our channel. So welcome everyone. I'm so glad that you're here. I see a lot of friends that I recognize your names. I see some new friends. So hello, and welcome to everyone. Welcome. I want everyone to stick around if you can. We will have a giveaway at the end. Lisa, who is the right hand lady, CFO, CEO, I don't know what her official title is. She does everything, is over in the chat. And so you'll see her with the little tool beside her name. And she is here to help out. And I know a lot of our friends in the comments, I see some of our friends, they know a lot of our information as well. So if there's questions, Lisa or some of our friends will help you out. She is everything. She does it all. Honeybee could not function without Lisa. That is for sure. What else was I going to say? If you have questions or if I need to see something, Lisa, I have my phone. I can check text messages. Sometimes it's hard for me to look up. And so, and a lot of times if you'll put question and then you ask your question, Lisa or someone will see it. Okay. Hello, everyone. Hello, Gail, Carol, everybody. Okay. We are going to start out with building the card first. So the base, and we're going to get that out of the way. And then we're going to move along to inking up, and putting together our little beach houses. And we're going to go from there. So we're going to start out. If you want to grab all of your little pieces for your card base, and let me show you what it looks like here. So I've got all my little pieces here in a little colorful mess. I'm going to set that one aside. I'm going to set my sand aside. We've got our water pieces here. Okay, and this is what you should look like here. This is going to be our main card base. So as you can see here, it is A2 size. It's top folding. So it was cut vertically at 4 1/4 by 11. Let's see which way we're going to open here. And then we scored it at the 5.5 inch mark. Okay. So that gives us our main card base. You could do this in any color you wanted to, whether you want to go more turquoise and teal or yellow or whatever color you wanted. That is going to be the main card base. And then we have a white sheet of paper. Again, we cut it at 4 vertically. And then we cut it horizontally at 10 1/4. So if I pull this out, you'll see here, and then we scored it at 2.5 and then at 5. And if I hold it here and I fold it at the 5, which is right here, you can see you should have a little lip left right here. And then we're going to fold this one down. So we're going to have a little accordion at the bottom. And that's what's going to give us our little fun fold card when we finish. So it pulls out. It will prop up on your desk or the recipient's desk or wherever they want to put it. You can put anything you want to, whether you're working with the palm trees and the beach houses and things, or if you have flowers and things like that. It's all the mechanics are going to work the exact same way. Okay. So that is that piece. We have our sky in my hand here. We have our water piece that is cut and all ready to go. And then we have the sand pieces. So for today, let's go ahead and we're going to get all this ready to go. I am going to use the stencils, but I'm going to talk you through, if you do not have the stencils to use, but you want to add color to your water and your sand, we're going to talk about some ways that you can do that. So if you want to grab this piece and these two pieces, and I'm actually going to take my little oval off of here. I was measuring for us earlier, and these are the 3 pieces that we should have out. Now, if you will take your stencils, and I have to find mine here in my little pile of goodies. And you should have 2 stencils, and mine are nice and dirty. Okay, so if you've got them stacked together, they should look something like, let me get all my wording correct. They should look something like so. And they're going to go like this on your paper. So you see your little water portion down here and the sand down here. Okay, now if you're going to do this on one sheet of cardstock, so let's pretend that we were doing everything on this sheet. This is when you would have to kind of mask off like your sandy portion up here and cover it up to do all your blue. This is why this is all on one stencil. And then you could switch and mask and do that. If you have cut 2 different sheets, if you have cut the water portion, you don't necessarily need to mask. So I hope that that makes sense to everybody. Okay, so I'm going to take my little stencil mat and my sticky mat. You can see mine is well loved and dirty. Let's see here. I'm going to look up here. Beach Break stencils. Yes. If you aren't seeing Kelly, refresh. Uh-oh. Is there a problem? Lisa can tell me. Me too. Okay. I hope everybody can see me. Let's see here. Is everybody good? Like, could somebody give me like a thumbs up or something like that before I go on to make sure it was good? No, they just need to refresh. Okay. Yes, at the very beginning, I think the stencils were sold out, but everything is back in stock now, and the coupon code is still good until for a few days. So, no worries there. Okay, so I am going to take my watery stencil, and I'm going to take the one that has this big wave here and this one, and not the bubbles. So see, this one is broken up more into little bubbles. I'm going to work with this one first. And so I am just going to line it up, and I use those big open spaces to line it up. Just like so. Okay, I got here making, there we go. Okay, we're all good. Perfect. All right, so let me go back here. So this is the portion in the card. If you can add any blues you want to, because we're starting with that baby blue base, we're kind of cheating, and it's going to make it easier. I'm going to do these portions in the peacock feathers. And so if you want to grab your peacock feathers ink or your turquoise ink, of course mine is all the way on the bottom of my pile of inks that I have here, and start. Now I always like to start with the ink that is on my brush first. That is a habit of mine, because we can always dip into our ink pad and add more on where we want it darker, but you can't take it off. And I have to tell you, do you see this little lip that's right there? Be really careful of that so you don't rip it off. I'm going to just kind of tuck it into place and then just brush down right over the top of it. There's one right there too. But do you see, I didn't even have to dip into my ink, and I've already gotten it this dark. And let's say we wanted a little bit of a darker teal section. That's where you can kind of dip in and have fun with it. Maybe like over here on the side, we do a little bit of a darker color, and we just kind of brush on right towards the bottom. But all that initial ink was all deposited out of just what was left in my bristles of my brush. Okay, so technically we can be done now with the turquoise, and see all that was left in there. And it don't feel bad if yours doesn't look absolutely perfect. It doesn't need to look perfect. It's okay. And we're going to talk about why. Okay, so for a second, while everybody's inking here, let's talk about if you do not have the stencils, okay? So let's say that you don't have the stencils. This is what I would do. I would ink on a couple of colors, like your peacock feathers or whatever. I would do a start and then maybe blend on when we do the faded jeans. You can take some faded jeans from maybe the top and blend those two together. You could always use your Copic markers and go in. I'm a lazy crafter, so I probably wouldn't color in all those, but there are ways around having to have the stencils if you don't have them already, okay? So you just blend on, you could mist and spray and have your oxide inks really mesh together. There's a lot of different things that we could do, okay? So don't feel like you have to have the stencils. This can be used without the stencils. Okay, when you're ready, we're going to take the area that has more of the bubbly look to it, like this. And again, line it up. And again, I'm going to say again, it doesn't have to be perfect. You know why? You know what's going to save me on this one? And I'm going to line up. See this little river that runs through? That's the turquoise. That's what I'm eyeballing to line up because it makes it easier for me to line it up that way. You know why it doesn't have to be perfect? Because we're going to add our puffy embossing powder and stuff over the top and make all those little foamy bubbles and stuff anyway. And you're really not going to see a whole lot of like, oh my goodness, my ink kind of went into that area or it went into that other area or what have you, if that makes sense. Okay, I'm going to grab my brush that is for faded jeans. Okay, so I've got my faded jeans out here. All right, torn piece of cardstock as your stencil. Perfect. Yes. Okay. Now, again, I am going to use my dirty brush first. Do you have a brush for every single ink? Sharon, probably, maybe not. But while I'm inking this on with my dirty brush, this is why I tell all my friends, and Sharon, I know you join us a lot. See how much is left in there? When we do these classes, that's why I always tell our friends, like, even if you're not going to get maybe the stamps and the dies and stuff like that, grab you a couple of packs of brushes while they're discounted at up to, scroll up. Okay, I'm scrolling. Question, Kelly, what is the dimension on the sand? We'll get to that here in just a second. Actually, hold on. Let me see if I can find it. I'm going to put it right here for a second while I'm talking. The little tiny, this is the little tiny one. And the other one is 3 3/4 by like 5 or 5.5 right now. That's why I always tell people to grab like the consumable items like glue, paper, brushes are always going to be in our class collection, because I think it makes it easier for everyone to be able to grab some at a discounted price. And then, you know, you build your collection over time, right? My collection of brushes, even though I work for Honeybee and I'm blessed that I am sent brushes, I've still built it over time. And you all know me, I will literally use these until they fall apart. I use and abuse my brushes. So same thing, I'm going to make it a little bit deeper right down in here than it is on the top. And that's just, you know, playing and personal preference and stuff like that. Okay, I hope that answers the sandy question. Whoever asked that, Lisa. But hundreds of inks. Okay, that is a question. So there you go. I have a brush for every color of oxide. So there's how many colors of that? For all of my other inks, I do not, because these are my everyday, I'm going to reach for these all the time inks. I don't reach for the other ones. And that's just, again, personal preference. I hope that makes sense. Sand. Yes. Thank you, Lisa. Perfect. Okay. And we're going to move right along. Okay. So if we peel this up, we're going to see our colors here. I'm going to set my dirty stencils aside for now. My brushes. And this is where you're going to get your embossing ink or pen. There's a couple of ways that you could do this, okay? If all you have is an embossing pad, then this is what I would do. And I'm going to grab one so I can show you. Hold while I walk across my crafter. And let me show you this too as well. That makes like a good little investment are these little things. And you can see I don't even keep them in any color order. This is what I would grab for maybe all those other inks that we were talking about, is to grab something like this. And I just throw mine in a little bin because these aren't used very often. This is a new one. And these are pretty inexpensive and you can buy a bunch at one time. But if you don't have this little pen, then I would grab something like this. I mean, you could even try a Q-tip or whatever you have to use, right? This just makes it super handy because we're going to add the ink into some of these little spots. And this comes out, it has the Versamark, it has embossing ink in it, if that makes sense. And so I'm going to start out and I'm first just going to trace, and you'll see where it starts to darken. That is that ink depositing onto the paper. And I'm going to get this edge pretty well. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. And I know I want to get the edges really good. And then I can kind of go along my little, what I'm calling the river, running through here like that. Let's get this other little river. Let's get that one. And you can see you don't have to be super careful. And then if you want to get finer into some of these little areas and just add just here and there. It doesn't have to be, and we don't have to hit every one because we're just applying like the little bubbles that we see wash up in the waves. Okay, let's put my lids on. Now, let's pour our embossing powder on. If I can get this out of here. Okay, so I'm going to take this guy. I'm just going to put it in here. And I've got the Wow Puff Powder. We put several different like puffy, glimmery, different embossing powders in the collection for you guys to kind of pick and choose. This is another good one to use like during the holidays when you're doing snow and things like that. And I can kind of tap it off. Now let's take a look at this when we heat it up. If there's any places at this point on this background that you don't like, for example, let's say that I really don't like how thick that is right there. I'm going to rub some off. Do you see how those little pellets just come right off? Let's take maybe a little bit of that off. Here we go. Maybe you don't want it to look, so much like a straight line. You want it a little messy, like those little bubbles would be. Okay, so I'm going to grab my tweezers and hold it, and then let's see what we get here. Place in order now for the Beige plate won't load. It continues to say adding. I've tried to refresh it, but still isn't going into my heart. It's been 10 minutes. Pamela. Okay. Lisa will take a look at the website for you and let you know if there's like issues. Okay, so don't fret. It's going to be okay. The messier that the little bubbles are and the little scragglers here that got dried in, I love that. I think it looks like, the water rushing up. And no wave is going to be the same or perfect, right? Okay. Let's see. I need to see what's new on the website. I haven't shopped in a while. Okay, you guys are just chit-chatting. You don't need an embossing ink pad. You can dip a paintbrush into your embossing ink pad and we'll get the same look. Yes, exactly. And that's why I mentioned like an ink pad and like a foam dauber. You can dip right in here. You can see I've already used these little foamy daubers on this ink pad, and you can go right along the edge, and a paintbrush to get in the fine little things, a little Q-tip. I mean, all of us crafty people are pretty, what do you call that word? Ingenious when it comes up to ideas, right? I mean, for example, while I'm cleaning up my mess here, a week or so ago, I made a card on one of our live streams that did a sanding technique. Well, I don't have any fancy sanding tools like the distress sanders or anything like that in my craft room. You know what I used? I used my husband's sander out of the garage. His little hand sander worked just fine. Worked like a dream. Okay, so I'm going to clean up my mess here, and then we're going to move on to the sand portion of our background, and it's really easy. You don't even have to do the sand portion or do the inking if you don't want to. All right, so here is our pieces of paper that we have. So we've got two pieces, and I'm going to start, this is the water down here. See our big river down here and the big river right here? I'm going to start, I like to start with my water down because that's how my brain is working, right? Okie dokie. I'm going to give, you know what, while you guys are doing that, I'm going to give my stencils a bath. Let me show you an easy way to do this while we're going. This is how I do it. I'm sure everybody has their own little way. I put a cloth underneath, and then I lay a cloth over the top and kind of do this number. And the cloth underneath is going to catch all the ink on the back side, and so you don't have to keep flipping it over and over and over and over again to try to clean it. So see how clean that one is already? So I can lay it aside, and then I'm going to lay this one down. I'm going to lay it over and give it a little shimmy. There we go. Make sure we get all of them clean there. There we go. And then we're all good to go. All right, let me put those down. Give them a little shake so they can dry. All right, now let's start again. Let's start this one. I'm going to do opposite this one. See how this one here that we had with that has the bubbles in the water. I'm going to call those the bubbles. And then for the sand, it's got like the waves in the sand. Okay, so this is to mimic the look of like when the tide goes in and out and the waves, you know, come up a little bit further, and then they fall back as time goes on. That is what that mimics, okay? So I'm going to grab my little piece here, and it's going to be hard for you all to see a little bit because of the paper color, I think, and the embossing. But I'm going to stick that right over the top. I used my river right here to line up my water, and then you can kind of eyeball these little lines where our tide has gone in and out. And then grab your brush for your brown. So I'm using gathered twigs. Kelly, are you using just water on the cloth? Yes, I'm using water. Okay, so gathered twigs, and I'm going to kind of do the bottom half. And let's take a look at our card again. Do you see how down in here it's not perfect? That's okay, because we're going to pretty it up. Do you see how some of it down in here is darker on this ink than it is when we open it up? Well, that's because here the water has rushed up, and this is how my crazy crafty brain works, okay? The water has gone up the beach and the waves have come in. It's going to be a little bit darker right in there. And then as it goes up in here, it's going to be pretty dry, right? This part, if you guys don't want to blend on it, you really don't have to. But I'm going to blend right here. So let's go back here. And at first, I'm going to take my gathered twigs brush, just my dirty brush, and I'm going to see if I have any ink still in here. And I may not. It doesn't look like on this one's pretty dry. So I'm going to grab some ink. And it doesn't matter if you go over the water, because we're going to cover that up with our little water die cut, remember? So don't freak out about the water. Okay, so I'm going to pull this back and see what we got. We're looking good. I'm going to take, well, I've got my little piece down. I'm going to take my stencil that has like all of my little sandy bubbles in here. And again, use your rivers down here to line everything up. Use the rivers, and then everything else is going to kind of fall into place, if that makes sense. Okay, to get into the little bubbles, let me show you what I do. Is I will get my brush pretty good and inky here, and I'm going to go little bitty circles back and forth, because that is what's going to get the bristles down into all the little tiny holes for the sand. Okay, back and forth and back and forth. Okay, see that? And then this is going to go right over the top. Now look at that. Sandy bubbles. Oh yeah, you could do those. Even if you wanted to make, like, use your colored pencils and do like little pink dots for like little seashells that have washed up, or, I mean, my imagination just gets going with all this stuff. Okay, so I'm going to take both of these pieces because we're done with those. And I'm going to set those aside. Now, let's get our big beachy piece. Now, don't forget, on our card, we're only going up about 3 inches, okay? So we're going to end up trimming this off. So I am only going to bring my ink up to about right here. There's no sense in spending any time doing all this up here. So again, I'm going to take my little lines first, and I'm going to line up my river down in the water. Get it lined up pretty well. And then I'm going to kind of glance over the top to make sure all these are kind of lined up. Now, I'm not going to ink up or add any new ink to my brush for this one. And I'm even going to be a little bit more careful about down here. That way, when I open, like, see how this is pretty left alone? Okay, so I'm going to start my inking about right here, and I'm going to go really light, not a lot of pressure, kind of work it back and forth really lightly, just to add just a hint. We just want a little hint of that color on here, just like so. Okay, then we can take our sandy bubbles or our seashells or whatever we want to call this. And again, I'm going to use these nice big lines down here to line it up, just like so. And then I can drop it on my mat. There we go. And same thing. I can see the little lines underneath where I stopped inking. And so I'm just going to kind of go lightly back and forth, working the bristles of my brush down in there. If you have a detailed brush, you could use that. This is just what I have with my gathered twigs on it. Okay, take it up just a hair. And then let's see what we have. We're looking good. Okay. Yes, I'm going to stop right here now that we've gotten this far. And we're going to take inventory here of how everybody's doing. Okay. Does everybody feel pretty good about it so far? Okay. Could you do another sandy piece on the back of the pop-up part? Could you do another? Yeah, you for sure could. Right there. You could do another sandy piece right there. It would be the same size. So if you wanted to cut it the same size so everything is cohesive, you could totally do that. I would cut it at this right here, 3 3/4 by 2 1/4. And you could put it right in there so it all stretches out. Okay, so this is what we're kind of looking like so far. And see how it starts to pale as we go up? Okay, if you want to glue down your water, you can go ahead and put some just liquid adhesive on the back. And you're going to have a little tail that's going to stick out just a hair. So I'm going to line it all up. Make sure my corners match well. And you should have just a little bitty blue tail, just like this. And all you're going to need to do, because there's no need to like cut and trim and all that, is trim that off. Okay, so this is what we're looking like so far. Okay, now let's talk about this piece and adding our little hillside or whatever that our little beach houses are going to perch on, okay? So I measured from here to the top of the hill is about 3 inches. So if you want to cut with your trimmer, just put it in your paper trimmer and measure up about 3 inches and do straight across. You could do that. If you want to use a circle die, if you want to use an oval die, that's what I'm going to use. I'm going to use my oval just like this. And what I did was I took my ruler, right? And I'm going to measure from here to here. From here to here, and make sure that I tape down my die at just about the 3-inch mark, right? Because I want to have plenty of sky that we can do that where the beach houses kind of stick up into the sky. We can add our little clouds and so on and so forth. So however you want to do it, you can kind of do that. Now, if you want to be careful of your bottoms and make sure your corners are up above your cut line so you don't cut off the corners of your paper. And I'm just eyeballing it to make sure that my hillside is pretty even. Okay. And once I get that, I can run it through my die machine. And I'm going to look up while I'm doing this and see if anybody has any questions. Oh, it would be cute as decor. All right, let's see how I did. Okay, so we've got this piece all cut. See how we've got just a cute little hillside now? And this can go in the garbage. Okay, now let's start thinking about, and I'm going to move my dirty mat for just a second. And I'm going to grab my sky, my little easel, and my card base. Okay. All right. So the first thing that I am going to do is I'm going to take my sky piece, okay, what I'm calling the sky, and I'm going to glue our sand down onto the base of it. So I'm just going to add my liquid adhesive here. Make sure I don't have anything. Nope. Okay. And I'm going to put it down towards the bottom. And then I'm going to make sure while my glue is still wet that I get these little corners down here all nicely matched up. And this is kind of what we should be looking like. Okay. All right. Now, this guy, I'm going to flip him over and put adhesive on the back of my sky piece. And then I'm going to carefully pull out my little accordion. And then we're going to line it up in here. I can kind of flip it around, make sure everybody's all nice and straight here. And then we can kind of give it a little press down there. And we're looking pretty good. And see what we're looking like when we close this up? Look how adorable that's going to be. How are you guys doing? Pretty good so far? Kelly, can you go over the dimensions as you show the pieces? Yes. Okay. So our sky, let me find all my pieces here. The sky is cut to 3 3/4. That's this piece right here by 5. And then what I'm calling water, that was cut with the die from the die set. Lisa's gonna have to tell me the name of it because it skipped my brain. The Beach Break. Okay. So this is sky, 3 3/4 by 5, and then water cut with a die. Beach break, thank you. Okay. The sand. Okay. Originally, you remember this piece right here was cut to 3 3/4 by 5. And we use the oval. That's why I put oval or circle down here. We use that to cut it out. Now, this measurement right here is for the tiny piece that's going to go on the front. That is this piece right here. That piece measures 3 3/4 by 2 1/4. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take my adhesive, add to the back of my sandy piece. And then I'm going to lay it down and line it up. And I may even go like this with our little accordion and kind of just, you know, get it to where I have a nice border around the edge. Make sure everything's pressed down nicely. And then once we get that glued down, this is what we should be looking like. Okay. I have to turn my fan up. It's hot in my craft room. Okay. Now, the only thing we have left to do to prepare our card base is actually put this on this, okay? And we can go ahead and do that because all the rest of our card is going to be all the cute little die cuts, right? So let's go ahead and finish this, and then we're going to have a place to put all of our cute little things. So I'm going to add liquid adhesive right back here. Okay, I'm going to make sure my card is opening the right way because I would boo-boo that. I'm going to kind of close it up and then set it down. And then I can kind of hold the whole thing up and eyeball all around to make sure that all of my edges look nice and neat. Look how nice and neat that looks when it's all closed up. Okay. Okay. Are you all doing well? This is the hardest part, okay? Doing all the math and the ink blending and all the things. That is the hardest part. The die cuts and things are going to be fun. They're little, but they're fun. Okay, let's see. I'm way behind. We'll have to redo some of the pieces. Okay, Gretchen, you email me, friend, if you need help, okay? Or rewatch the video or whatever you want to do. Great design. Great that you did all the math. Yes. I was trying to make it easy, not only on myself, but you guys as well. Okay. And you know what I'll do when I finish the class is I'll take my little Post-it notes and I'll go into the description of this video and I'll put out like a card base and the measurement and where you score. And then I'll write like sand pieces, measurements and where you do that. White card base, measurements, and then where you score it. Will that help everybody? And then you can see it there in writing too. I think that might help. I'm very visual like that. Okay. Okay. So this is what we should be looking like. All right, I'm going to set this guy aside. Look how well we're doing. Look at our card. Isn't that going to be adorable? And whether you're doing flowers and all the things, or somebody told me that they were doing a motorcycle, like anything would be amazing, okay? Very cool. That would be great. Yes. Okay. All righty. I'm going to get my messy mat out here and give it a little wipe down because it's time to play with some die cuts. Okay. So if any of you remember or got to watch the homework video, I divided my dies and my die cuts up by house. And I followed, like, the pointy house is here, the little flag house, I have all the parts in here. This little house with the shutters I have down here, and then my palm trees and things are over here, right? Okay, so I'm going to start working through all my little bits, and this is where you may want to grab your layering guide. Okay. Does everybody have a layering guide? Is that, yes, it's microfiber. If you I get all mine in the automotive section of the store because they come in huge packs of a lot. 10 or 12 or whatever. And they're usually less expensive in automotive than they are like in the kitchenware or somewhere like that. Okay. That's okay, Danette. Don't feel bad. And these videos are going to live here on our channel. So you can watch it and do whenever you need to, okay? You could totally do that, Miss Lori. Okay, does everybody know how to find the layering guide? There, you're going to see a picture of my kids for a second. And I'm going to show everybody that's here today while we're having a little catch-up session. Okay, if you go to Honeybee Stamps, right? And let's say we're looking for the beach houses. Okay, beach houses, click it. Here they are. Click the picture, or on your computer. It's the same thing on your computer, okay? And you scroll down underneath the description and everything, right? And there's anything that has one of our layering guides, there's going to be a download available for you right here. Now, if you ordered it from us, you should have a really pretty printed version. If you have lost it or you need another one, or if you're like me and Lisa, we don't get the pretty ones, you can download them and print them right here, okay? So you click that and see you're getting the same version that I have. Okie dokie. And I think you can even do like your QR code and push it. Let's push it and see where it goes. And it goes right there to the product page. So if you need, like, you wanted to see a card, or you wanted to see how so-and-so made their card, you can do the QR code and find it. Okay. Mine doesn't look great, but it's good. Yes. Yes. Okay. Use an umbrella. Perfect. I love that you guys are using all the different things. Okay. All right. So I'm going to set this aside. And I'm going to get out all the pieces for my pointy beach house. Okay. And I even have the buoy, and we'll talk about it. All the little pieces as I get here. Make sure I have all the paper out. Okay. And I'm just going to start setting out. So this is going to be one color. This is going to be another color. This one. And I'm following pretty much kind of the colors on the layering guide. So if you want to kind of follow along, don't throw this that looks like a fallout square, don't throw that one away. Keep that. And then I'm going to put my little accessory pieces, like the buoy and things, right up there. Okay. I don't want you, here's my takeaway for you all. I don't want you to feel like all the little pieces are intimidating. When you look at them on that big backer and you see all the tiny little pieces, it is intimidating and it gives my heart anxiety. Even when Lisa and I look at them, okay? I don't want you to feel that way. I want you to think of them as, break them up into smaller things. So whether that's a flower or leaves or a background or little houses or whatever, break them up, break it down in your brain. I have to do this. So that's like why mine is broken down like this. This right here, do you see how that's so much more doable in our crafty brain than if you look at all of it in a whole? Okay. And then I pulled out all the dies for the little flag house. This is a lot more doable than when you look at it all in the big backer, right? So I get a lot of comments because I do all of our customer care stuff about, oh my gosh, there's so many little dies. And that's true. Break it down into smaller little pieces so you don't get so overwhelmed. Because even Lisa and I, as much as we craft, we can get overwhelmed sometimes too. So I don't want you guys to feel overwhelmed. All right, the first color that we're going to grab, let me find my brush, my messy brush, is actually antique linen. Okay, because this is going to actually give us a kind of a pretty yellow. And the underside or the base of our house that we're going to build everything off of is going to be antique linen. Okay, I'm going to start out, with what's left on my brush. I'm going to see what we have, and it may not be much of anything. It's turning yellow, but I'm not too happy with that. I'm going to pat some off because I really want that pretty, it will give you like that buttery yellow color if you don't go too dark with it. See that butter yellow, the beachy yellow? Okay. And then next, let's do this little part of the house. And you can tell I haven't taken all the guts out of it yet, but that's okay. This one is going to be orange, like crackling campfire. So I'm going to find my little brush, my ink. And as I get finished with a piece, I'm just going to make a little happy stack right up here. And I'm going to try my dirty brush first. Oh, yeah, because that is loaded down with ink. Didn't even dip into it, and look at it. Okay. I use cat food cups. They're the perfect size. How perfect is that? Okay. We're looking good on that. Our roof. I'm going to stick that there. The roof, I'm going to grab the underside of the door that's wonky. I'm going to put it with the roof, and you'll see why here in just a second. I'm going to grab the window that has the little tiny cutouts, and I'm going to put it over here. And I'm going to put these two pieces together just like that. And I can even do this piece, the anchor right there. And I'm going to do the base of the buoy right there. I can get rid of that little dot. Okay. All right. For this little stack right here, we're going to do in red. So whatever red you want to grab. I'm going to use lumberjack plaid. I already have a lumberjack plaid brush, so I'm going to try it first. And everything, this is why I laid them all together, because we're going to do one fell swoop here of inking. See how fast that is? And it doesn't have to be perfect. Okay. Okay, we got all of our red. This little happy stack over here is going to be the peacock feathers. So the same color as we used on our water. So you should have that brush laying around somewhere. And I'm going to do it all at one time. Come on, little anchor. All at one time. Just like so. And then I'm actually going to do the buoy. You could leave it white. I'm going to do it a little tiny bit of this butter color. So I'm just going to go with my antique linen brush. And so it's not so stark white. I'm going to give it a little bit of an aged, like yellowy look. Okay. How are you guys feeling? Okay, I adore the tiny details. Okay, good. Can you use colored cardstock to cut out? Absolutely, Nancy. This tray is really old. I think I bought this in like the drawer organizing section, like at Target or Walmart. And it's old, old, old. Like you can see where I've like spilled adhesive or burned the inside of it. But whatever you can find. All right, let's put this little guy together. So I'm going to pop out all of my little gut pieces. And I'm going to have to do it this way. Get all of my little pieces knocked out. There we go. And then I'm going to add the glue on the back of the orange piece so I don't make a mess all over the other. So I'm going to add a little there, just a little tiny dots. And then if you need extra fingers and hands like I do, a lot of times with our little die cuts, I'll use some tweezers, and it makes it a little bit easier to handle. So I'm going to actually pick up both of them and then squish everything together all around the edges. Make sure everything is lining up. And I'm going to hold it like this just for a second. Dollar Tree has similar trays, only 3 sections. Yes. Question, what is the size of the oval? Okay, I'll measure it for you here in just a second. It is about 3 3/4 by 5. And this just happened to come from our sweet stacks, but you could use, you know, a little circle or whatever you have. Okay, I'm going to pick up the roof line and I'm going to add glue, just some tiny little dots. And if it looks like I'm getting too much glue like this, I'll take my finger and just kind of do a dab, 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 and then wipe my hands off. And, you know, use my finger to kind of spread that adhesive in those tiny areas where I'm working. Okay. I'm sorry if my head gets in the way too. So this is what we're looking like. Okay, now down here, we're going to glue the red portion of the door. And then right up here, we're going to glue the inside of our little window thing, okay? So I'm going to pick up the door, add just a little bit, and then adhere that right over the top. And then the turquoise piece. And that's going to go right over the top. Okay, so this is what we should be looking like. I used all colored cardstock, not messy as inks. There you go, Victoria. I prefer this because I like the inks and I can make it whatever color I want. But, you know, sometimes I do, especially when we're getting ready for a new release, sometimes I use my scraps of colored cardstock. I like this inking as a, what is it? I don't know. I like this for some reason. It tickles my crafty brain for some reason. I don't know what it is about inking it up, but I like it. And I think another thing is picking out like little scraps stresses me out, like little pieces of paper. Whereas I can cut this all out of white in one go and have it all done. Like I would rather ink it than die cut it. Does that make sense? I'm a lazy crafter. Okay, look how cute that is looking. And I love how parts of the ink are like darker than others. So it looks like weathered in storms and along the beach and all that fun kind of stuff. I like that. Oh, our little shutters. I don't want to lose those. Let's go ahead and glue those down. Okay, and we're going to glue our shutters where we have that little red edging, like it's got trim all around the side. Ink blending is, yes, inking makes me feel like I'm painting. I'm a terrible painter, but I'm a good inker. Yes, you are a good inker. Okay, let's put together our buoy. Pop that little center out. And I'm going to put the adhesive on the little kind of yellowy tan portion. And it does have embossed lines. You know, if you wanted to paint or use a marker or something to do like the red, you know how like the little lifeguard buoy has the little red sections, you could totally do that. I am just going to leave mine. And then the buoy, I'm going to glue with just a little bit of adhesive. I'm going to glue right up here. So it's going to hang down and it's going to be ready for whoever needs to grab it if there's an emergency on our beach. It's going to go right there. And then our little anchor, I'm going to pop at the center out. And I'm going to add a little glue back in there. And then I'm just going to like cock it right over here on the edge, right on the porch. Ooh, alcohol inks, Miss Lori. Yes, ready for sharks near the shore. Okay, and then our little pointy house is all done. All finished. So if you actually wanted to glue him right in here, if you're ready to do that, see how he's going to stand up tall right in the center? You could do that. And I'm just going to add adhesive just a little bit right in here, not all over. And I'm actually going to close my card a little bit and kind of look at it about like so. And then I can kind of hold that down. And I'm going to squeeze it. Make sure that house may need stilts. That one probably does. He probably does. He's got really good insurance down there. Okay. So that's how we're looking so far. Now I can clean off my mat. And the next house we're going to do is the little flag house. Okay, so I'm going to do a cleanup here. Okay, I'm suddenly hungry, but I'm not stopping. Go get a snack. You can get a snack. I'm going to drink my water. And then while you guys are getting ready, I'm going to lay out all the little pieces. I'm going to get the pieces out from my little flag house. He has stilts. And then I have the little line of fish. Oh. Okay. So I'm going to start organizing my pieces, and then I'll tell you what we're going to put all together. I'm going to have to use my tweezers. Okay, so this little guy and this and this and this one can go down here, and then this one is going to go, I can put it right there. This one is going to go, this one, the steps actually go with the other house. I'm glad I caught that. This one goes, that is going to go up here. And then we've got the little steps. I'm going to leave right here for now. Fish. I may be missing a fish. That one. Let's see if my little fish is hung up somewhere. I may have to cut a new one. Okay, let's see how you're doing. When these die cut out, does each die cluster with its own little parts? What do you mean by that, Bo? There we go. Now I've got plenty of fish. Okay, so this is what I'm thinking for this. This one, the fish rope, the shutters are all going to be turquoise. Okay, and then the ladder, the underside of the shutters, the flag are all going to be red. This piece and this piece, I'm going to stick right up here. Let me get all my little, this one is going to be the yellow. This one's going to be a little bit darker. My fishes are going to be all different colors. So I'm going to do one red, one yellow, one, I'm going to change it up. Okay. Okay, so I organize it like this by color and section. Does that make sense? So we can do it like all at one time. So this up here, I'm going to ink turquoise. And you could do whatever color you want. And it may be time to dip. No, it's looking pretty good. My shutters. And my fish rope. Let's see here. It's like home design, choosing just the right colors to feature. Yes, the prep made it so much easier today. Yes, it does. The sticky mat is like a gel press. Kind of. It's really thin. It's more like a clear stamp than a gel press. It doesn't have much give to it at all. But you could try your gel press. I've never tried that. Okay, this little pile right here, I'm going to do red. So a bunch of this, like you've already got it all out and all ready. So I'm just going to do red here. I chase my little ladder around. And I just ordered new grip mats because as you can tell, I just trash mine. Mine is well loved, well used. Okay. All right, so this back side of this house, I'm going to do in the Crackling Campfire Orange. It's going to be so dang cute on that turquoise. Look at that. And then this right here, I'm going to do in the, let's do it in the, like the buttery yellow color. So antique linen. And I think I'm going rogue on my colors here from the mat, but it's going to be cute. Okay, I'm going to lay that there. Okay, our roof and our chimney top. That's what those are. These are going to be wall gathered twigs. They're going to be brown. And then for my other little fish, I'm going to do, I've done a red one. Let's do an orange little guy. And let's do a yellow little guy. If I can find my, yeah, that's going to be cute. Okay, this little piece right here. I waited until the very end to figure out if I was going to need it. Yes, it's a step. I'm going to do my step for the front porch. Let me peel back. See the little step right here, or the deck? I'm going to do it in the same brown as the roof and the chimney, just to be easy peasy. But any of our colors, they're kind of interchangeable on all of this because, you know, they're just different on each house. Okay, so let's start building this little guy. So I'm going to take my orange, and I'm going to glue it first to our little turquoise base. Pick it up, and then I'm going to squish all the little parts around. Kelly, I'm going to adopt your pre-work prep going forward for my card making. This is really going great. Perfect. This is that I did yesterday, or for you guys. That's what I do for all of our live streams. So, you know, one, it helps me get my brain all figured out, and, you know, it makes it easier when I'm live. And I don't want to keep everybody like, you know, because everybody's time is valuable. So I don't want to keep you, there's no reason why you should see me like die cut everything. And unless we're doing a special technique or something like that, I try to be, you know, respectful of people's time and stuff like that. So try to have everything ready to go. Okay, this little guy, he's going to be cute. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and do like our little roof line and the chimney. And prepping yesterday ahead of time, it helped me too, because that's when I did all my prep and like organized it all. And that's why I don't want you to feel, I don't want you overwhelmed with all the little pieces. Like if you break it up like we have with our little houses, like do one house at a time, it cuts down on the anxiety of all the little pieces. It does for me anyway. And I do the same thing with, you know, when Lisa and I are testing dyes or doing whatever we're doing, like things before you guys even get a chance to see them. You know, Lisa and we do the same thing. We just break it down, do a little bit at a time, put it together. That's cute, cute, cute. All right, the little red. It's going to sit right there. I hope my big head's not getting all in the way. Let me move this little guy up. Okay. Thank you, Lisa. Can you share the code again? Perfect. Thank you, Lisa. Yes, who is that? Lori says she uses a little bit of water or stamp cleaner and grit mat to clean. Yes. Now let me tell you this. I got in trouble the other night because I used alcohol on my stamps. Okay, so when I tell y'all that I do something, that doesn't necessarily mean that, you know, you all have to do it. I am super hard, and I'm a big experimenter. Like those of you who watch on my live streams or the honeybee live streams know that I'm gonna like try it out. I'm gonna test it. So I do clean my grit mat, and I did put alcohol on my stamps the other night. And I don't think that you're supposed to do that, because over time it will, you know, break it down, the photopolymer. But I'm just trying to give you an option of things that we all have already in our household like in our medicine cabinet, instead of, you know, I don't want you to feel like you have to buy a special ink pad to do that technique, because I don't have the special ink pad. Like, you know, I'm going to get off my soapbox. There we go. So I've got the little steps or the ladder. I've got the cutesy little flag. And now we're going to put together the little fish. Yes, you are. I love how you're experimenting with sprays. Bo, girl, you know that is like, ooh-wee. That is out of my comfort zone. Of course, you know, here's the deal. You know, somebody mentioned earlier about like inking up white paper for die cuts, and it's like too much, or it makes a mess, or, you know, whatever. Lisa can tell you, when we first started doing like lovely layers and all the things, and I started inking on white, freaked me out, because I was like, oh my gosh, well, it's like, you know, you can't hide any of your boo-boos, or, you know, you can't do this, or you could, like, it was a little bit stressful, but I've kind of, I've gotten to where I love it. Just start with white and just ink and have fun and change things up, and I still do things out of solid colored cardstock, but not nearly as much anymore. But experiment and have fun. Okay, our little fish decor is adorable, and I'm going to hang him like right up there. I'm going to add just a little bit of adhesive on the back of the little fish too, so they can kind of glue down to the little house. So cute. Look at that. And the colors, if I show you, they're much brighter, like, than they look on my screen. Like, the colors don't come across as well as I wish they did. But they're pretty. Ouch. But they're pretty. Okay, how are you guys doing? Let's go here, and let's do a little break here. How small are the smaller seashells? They're not teensy tiny. They're about like this. The starfish is about like this. But our original lovely layer seashells are really big. And so we did small ones to go with like the new sandpiper and all that kind of stuff. I hope that's what you mean. Yeah, the hanging fish are so cute. Doesn't that look like an old school, you know, where they had the little bathhouses where you go in and like put your little swimsuit on and, you know, have all the little stuff? That's what these little houses kind of remind me of. Okay, everybody's doing good, I think. Oh, the sandpiper would look cute on the beach. Yes. And actually, these houses were not designed to go on this beach. They were designed to go on the Palm Beach that has all the other stuff with the stencils. But when I was putting together this class, I thought, I wonder if I can make this work, because I wanted to do like a little fun fold. And sure enough, I think it looks pretty cute. Okay, I'm going to clean my little mess here. And then we're going to glue down our little stilt house. And I did do a little bit of thought process when I glued those down. I don't know if you want to hear my thought process or not, but I will share. Okay. It definitely works. Yes. Oh, yeah, the bathhouses in the UK, for sure. All right. So this is my thought process. Let me make sure we're dry here. Okay, so I wanted the stilts, let me pull this one out, to be like tucked back in there. See that? But not so far down that we're like hiding parts of the little house. So I was kind of careful about, like, I know I want it to go about right here, like so. And you can glue back here because none of this has moving parts. So you can go ahead and glue like your whole beach house down. You just want to be a little bit aware of where we're putting everything because we're still going to have like some little palms and another little house. So you just kind of want to be a little bit on the careful side when you're gluing. Okay, so I'm going to kind of close it up. And I apologize right now because my big head is going to for sure get in the way right now. I'm just going to tuck it like right in there. Make sure that he's all nice and straight. I'm going to let go. And then I'm going to pick up and then adjust him. And then he's going to sit and nestle right back in there. Isn't that cute? I appreciate you being slower because it really helps me. No problem. Where did you glue the fish down? Missed that. Oh, I glued them right up here. And I put glue right along the edge of the little rope, but I also put a little bit of adhesive behind the little fish. That way they would kind of stay tacked down on the little house. Oh, you know what I forgot? Who was it that said that? Bo. I've got clouds and a seagull. Did anybody else cut clouds? I've got vellum clouds. I'm glad you just said that because I'm just like crafting away here, not even paying any attention. I'm going to do this. Yep. I didn't glue down the top. Okay. So I'm going to slide in a cloud. You guys just, y'all continue to work. If you want to slide in your little clouds, slide them in. I'm glad I didn't glue the heck down out of that little house. He's going to go right back in there. I'm going to pick it up and make sure my little cloud is nice and straight. But those of you who join me all the time, y'all know that I'm a little bit nutty. I forget these things all the time. Okay. Now this guy, I know. I'm going to go ahead and with the clouds. And I'm going to spread this out a little bit. And this one's going to come right down here, I think. And then watch. I'm going to do a little haircut. Okay, we're looking cute. I'm glad that Bo said that about clouds and seagulls. And then I'm going to put one maybe right up in here. And the clouds are not necessary. Somewhere. I have my little seagull. Does anybody else have a little seagull that they cut? I'm going to put a little bit of lost shadow on him. Just so, oh, he's a lot darker than that. That was a lot of ink in that brush. I'm going to go ahead and glue him down. He's going to be right up there. Okay, let's see here. Yes, 2 of them Denise has. Did the edges of the wings with black tips. Cute. Looks like vellum. Yes, it is vellum. I can peel this up. You can see them better if I hold them up like this. I always forget all the little things. I get to chit-chatting and crafting. Okay. Who's ready to go on? We'll move on to the last little house. Bo's ready. It's so hard to craft and chit chat, especially when you're like me and you're like a mouth of the South. Okay, let's do it. House number 3. So I'm going to pull out all the paper first, and then we're going to organize by color. As we do here. And I think I've got a bunch of extra pieces in this one because I wasn't sure what was a little wooden slat and what was not. Okay, so we have the base of our little house. We've got the overlay. We've got the little door. Okay, so I'm going to do this in, oh, what color do I want to do that one? I'm going to do the yellow here because I mishmashed my houses before. And then I'm going to do teal here, and this I'm going to do really dark teal. So I'm going to put it next to. And then I want, this is going to be brown. There's going to be quite a bit of brown here. The little cute door that has a little heart on it is going to be brown. The steps, let me look here. This Maya should have gone on another house. I think it should have. I'm a bad crafter friend. This goes right. It does not. There. This goes on the front porch. We're going to do this one in teal. This is going to be brown. And this one is going to be brown. Okay. So let me show y'all my boo-boo. These little steps. See these? These actually go on this little house. I'm just going to leave it, obviously. But I just wanted to point it out to you. In case you're wondering, like, what did Kelly mess up? That's what I messed up. And I did it on my original card in, like, reds. That's what happens when Kelly starts talking. All right, let's see here. That doesn't count. Okay, good. Little happy accidents. Perfect. You guys forgive me. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to do this portion of, I think I said yellow. I really want to do it in the orange. I like the bright orange. We're just going to do it. Go for it, right? It's only ink and paper. Orange. If you want to do yours in the creamy yellow. And then this little happy pile, let me show you. I'm going to move the roof just for a second. So this and this, I'm going to do without inking, okay? So it's going to give us that really light kind of minty, turquoisey color. Okay? So no ink pad. Just use what's in your brush. Okay, and we're going to change the color, or we're going to pretend for this piece. When I find right here, we're going to make the roof, even though it's the same color ink, peacock feathers, we're going to do it really dark so it pops and it sets those colors apart. So it looks like we're using more ink than what we really are, or we have more shades. Okay, and we're going to do some of the same playing around with the little doors and the parts. So for example, the little shutters, the little door, and that's it. This one is going to come down here. I'm going to put the inside of the window and the frame around the door. I'm going to move them out of the way. These two are going to be lighter. So I'm going to ink or brush on with just what's in my brush. Okay. And then for these two parts, we're going to dip in and they're going to get a dark coat. Same ink color, just the difference between a dip and a not a dip. Okay, let's see here. Hi, Amy. Let's see here. Bella, like, that's okay. Yay, blue. Weathered, yes. It's a design choice, not a mistake. Thank you, Jennifer. See, this is why we all can be friends. Okay, so I'm going to start out with my light little minty. Do you see how that changes it up so much? I do that an awful lot with my inks, is especially on Lovely Layers flowers and leaves and things like that. A lot of times. I'll use the same color for everything. I just like different amounts of ink and different amounts of pressure on the bristles of your brush is going to give you different looks with the same ink color. That way we can get away with having less colors than people think, or it looks a lot fancier than what you might think. Okay, I'm going to glue this little guy with the shutters onto the little window. Okay, and I'm going to take just a little bit of adhesive kind of right around the edge. And then I'm going to use my tweezers and just kind of line it up, set it over the top. You can kind of shimmy it around until you get it right where you want it. And then I'm going to leave it squeezed together. Love the color combos. Thank you. I'm using our layering guide actually as our little color combo guide. Okay, so that little guy, he's pretty good. The door. Okay, so for our little heart door, so cute, he's going to go right here. And you kind of want to leave a little bit of a step right here, and you want to have just a tiny bit of the blue showing on either side of your door. And then you can add your little trim piece. what my puppy is doing here. And it goes on top of the door. Lily. Like that. So it's going to sit on the door. So it makes it easy. I tried to put it around it just a second ago. Okay, now our little steps. Just add a little bit of adhesive. Kind of do your little dot, dot, dot. And it's going to go right here and kind of line up. And press. Okay, you kind of want to line it up with, let me pick it up, with the bottom of the blue that we left under the door. And see how your little steps and your stilts and everything are all going to kind of come together. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do my little turquoise roof. I'm going to set it down and then adjust. And then my little windows last. And it's going to go just above the door. I left a little bit of space. And then that's how we're looking. I know, we need to go to the Caribbean. A card maker's cruise, maybe. Through the Caribbean. Okay, now, make sure that's dry. Same thing goes for our placement of this little house. You just kind of want to, I'm going to grab him right up here. So I can just kind of nestle him right about there. Now let me pick that up. Oh, that's perfection. Let me squish him down just a little bit. I'm going to pick up, make sure we're all good. We're almost done, you guys. You guys are doing so well. Okay. These are going to go fast. And then I'm going to set this out so I don't forget it. I'm going to show you how to do that. Okay, so your trees and your palm fronds. I'm going to put this sign down in here. All right, so the base of the trees, I'm going to start a lot more heavy-handed down to what's going to be the ground and go lighter as I go up. That's just personal preference. If you want it really super dark right up here where the palm fronds would be causing shadows or whatever, you can do that. I'm not going to get that technical, but let me show you. So I'm going to go about like that. And I'm going to go about like so. Shh. I bet somebody rang the doorbell. Okay, now let's talk about our palms. our fronds. And let me show you what I did. Okay, so take your brush for the green. So it's going to be, mine is a Rustic Wilderness. Let me do this while you guys are, my little sign is just the brown. Okay, let's see how you're doing. I don't have the stamp set for this. We'll have to figure out something. Oh yeah, you can hear the bird and the puppies. Okay. Rustic Wilderness. Let me show you what I did. And this is not like a have to kind of a deal. I'm going to use, I've got some scrap paper. See what I did when I boo-booed my little fish? I'm going to put it like this. And I'm just going to first ink with my dirty brush. And I may not have anything on it. A little bit. And I'm just going to do kind of a little coat like this. Now, you don't have to do this, but I'm going to show you why I'm doing it. Okay? Because they layer right over the top. Okay. Little coat. And then I can make these, maybe since they're going to be on top, maybe they're a little lighter. Just a little. Okay. Now, let me show you my little trick that I did for the little trees. You can make your palms look a little more full if you'll just drop a little bit of adhesive or a lot of it like I just did. We don't need that much. And take your palm fronds and kind of figure out which one lines with what. And then just off center, I got a mess, your top part a little bit. So it's actually supposed to line up and go like so. Let me make sure it's not supposed to go over here. Oh, it's supposed to line up and go like that. So, right? Because it's going to perfectly line up like a lovely layers, correct? Well, what I'm doing is I'm tilting them just a little bit. And so you're going to get double the palm fronds. Does that make sense? And then these top ones, you can kind of give them a little bit of a lift. And then you're not even going to see it down in here because it's all going to meet together right here. Does that make sense? I hope. Layer them, draw the lines in. Yeah, you can totally do that. Okay, then I'm going to take this one and let's see, this one I went that way. So this one, I'm just going to tilt it a little bit the other direction. We're just going to offset them just a little bit. And then we're going to have double the lines. Yeah, you can totally layer them. They're meant to be layered like that directly on the top. But as Lisa says, I do all the things. Okay, now, coconuts. You can either use the die for your little coconuts, or you can use pearls. So there's a little die for the coconuts, and I'm going to use pearls, but I'm going to do them at the end. So I'm going to like shift these out of the way. And now let's talk about the little sign, okay? So there's the little beach sign. And I told you I would show you today how we're going to get the look of this without having to mess with it too much. And I'm going to pull my dirty magnet up here. Okay. So I'm going to set this down. And I've got my little sign that says beach and has the little line and like a little sunshine or something in it, right? And I'm going to take my gathered twigs or whatever brown ink that you're using, and I'm just going to dab, dab, dab right over the top of it. Yes, I'm making a mess on my magnet. It'll all be fine. Okay, now I hope that is in there. I can't tell. Let's see here. It's going to look like it doesn't have any ink on it, but it actually does. I'm going to go, I'm really going to ink it up. Okay, now I'm going to put my little scrap right over the top. I'm going to tape down my scrap, and then I'm going to run all of this through my die machine. Okay, so it's going to die cut it and like stamp it all at the same time. Okay. All right, let's see how we did. Where did she go? There she is. Okay, you see where it drops the ink in the word beach? And so you can do that with any of like your embossed dies like that, and it will, you can ink them up and play with them like that. So I'm going to glue my little sign down. Like think about like all of our market cart add-ons that say like different things. I wish I had thought of this, and I was not the one that thought of it. One of our design team members did this, and I thought it was brilliant. So now our little sign, I'm not having to draw in there that it says beach. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Could you put white down? You totally could put white pen. And that's what I used to do. I used to do white pen. I used to do colored pencils. I wouldn't use Copic marker because it's just going to bleed in there. But you could do anything like that. Leanne West, I believe, is the one that did this on some flowers. And I thought that was brilliant to do that. And so I tried it with this die that says beach, and it works. This one got a little dark. This one, let me show you. This one actually looks a little better. See how it just deposits that ink right down in there? Isn't that cute? Okay. Now, pull all my little pieces in here. We got to stick our pieces on, do a sentiment, and wham, bam, we're going to be all done. Fussy cutting. Ooh, Denise likes fussy cutting. Bless you. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is my little palm trees. So I'm going to give this one like quite a bit of adhesive down its little trunk. And he's going to go right along in here. And then this guy, just a little dot right in there. He's going to go right over here. Let's see what we have now. Isn't that adorable? Oh my goodness. Now we can do our little sign. You could really tuck it in anywhere. Let's put it this way. Let's put it like, there's an old little beach road or little path or something. I don't know. Okay, so I used on my little palm trees gold pearls. You could use brown. You could use whatever you would like. I need to find my little die pick. Has disappeared in my mess. There it is. And I'm going to use these little medium-sized ones. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. There we go. How's everybody doing? All right, now all we have left to do is our sentiment. So grab one of those little pieces of scrap paper that we saved yesterday from all of our cutting. Okay, put whatever sentiment you like. Get the old Misty out here. Okay. And the class was named after the sentiment here, warmest wishes, sending warmest wishes. But there are, like, you are my sunshine. Summer birthdays are the best. That would be adorable if you're making a birthday card. Any of this would be cute. Hello, summer. Life is better at the beach. Any of these would be adorable. So I'm going to do the sending warmest wishes. And let's put this guy way down in the bottom there. Okay. And then I'm going to ink this up in peacock feathers because we're going to be extra like that. Okay. And then I gotta find the die. That looks like it right there. You're welcome. Thank you, everybody. If y'all have to pop off or hop off, thank you all for joining us. We're going to do, as soon as I get my sentiment popped down here, Lisa probably right now is scrolling through looking for a little giveaway winner for us today. But thank you all for joining us. I'm going to run this through my die machine, and then we're going to be all done. Okay. Oh, come on. There we go. And then I'm going to put this in here. You're welcome, Denise. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for crafting with me today, you guys. It's fun. The next card class will be, let's see, what is today? July. In September. Okay, I'm going to peel, and then we can pop it on. I'm going to add mine right down here in the waves. And then what do you know? Look at that. Let's see here. Let's chat with everybody. Yay! You did it! Thank you for spending your Saturday with me. I almost kept up. Not bad for a 71-year-old. Yes, you did it, Nantucket. Oh, yay. You're so welcome, everyone. Thank you, thank you. We'll put together a fun class for September, too, if you guys want to do that. We have fun. And I have just as much fun as you guys. Okay, so this is today's card. Not too shabby. And then the trial card. All right. All right, let's see here. The final outcome, all the little details, perfect. Perfect, perfect. Let's see here. 2 cards. I agree. The front porch card would be fun. Ooh, a front porch card, a fall. Oh, y'all haven't seen the fall sets yet. They're fun. Okay. All right, Lisa's going to give us our winner if she already hasn't. We'll have a little giveaway winner today. That's always fun. Not too shaky. Love the coconut pearls. Aren't they cute? So glad you did detailed instructions. You're so welcome, Denise. A tease. Do I have a teaser? Yeah, I can tease you guys while Lisa's doing that. Hold on. Let me dig. Let me find it. Oh, here it is. Oof. All right. Our winner, while we're looking at a sneak peek, is Anne. Okay. So, y'all mentioned front porch. I can give y'all a little teaser. All right. So, this, hold on. Let me go down. All right. So, this is one little tease. Is that not adorable? One. And then let me give you a tease over here. 2. Yep. It's a twofer. Love it. Yep. Isn't that adorable? And if I go a little bit further, see this little guy? Boop, boop, boop. So dang cute. So fun. All right. So congratulations to Anne, who is our winner today. Thank you, Anne, for joining us. Anne, if you will email me, customercare@honeybeestamps.com, I am going to send you a gift card. Thank you all for joining me today. Have a wonderful rest of your Saturday and a wonderful Sunday tomorrow. And I will see you all, hopefully, on Monday with a fall sneak peek. Okay? Bye, guys.